Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing some fun spring nail art, kind of summer vibes as well, so they're going to be perfect for both. I'm absolutely obsessed with neon colors, so we're going to be doing some jelly tips with a little bit of bright accents to it. And I feel like this is going to be the perfect like vacation nail art. You can add more stuff on top and it'll look super cute. So definitely love this as a base as well as a design on its own. So we're going to be doing some French nails. If you guys are not new to my channel, I'm sure you guys know by now that I am terrified of doing smile lines with acrylic. They scare me, okay? But to ease my struggles, what I like to do is do the reverse method, which is basically what I'm going to be doing for today's video. So I'm starting off with a medium-sized bead of acrylic. We're going to be placing that as our smile line, and then we're just going to gently mold it into place. So here we go. I'm taking a medium-sized bead and again just patting it into place, and I want to make sure that I'm bringing it all the way down to the length that I want my smile line to be. I do like mine to be a little bit more on the almond shape. You could always do them super round. You can even do a V cut. Like there's so many endless possibilities when it comes to this type of design, but I personally like a good almond shape. So I'm just gonna start by tucking in the sides and then very carefully molding that shape that I like. And then I take the tip of my brush and also kind of carve it out just to make sure that I have a little bit more of a crisp smile line, and then I just pat it down, and then we're going to be building up that acrylic up towards the cuticle area. So because this finger is a little bit bigger than the pinky, I'm going to go in with 3 beads, and I'm just going in with that first one, which we carve the smile line out. Then we're going to go into a second bead and then a third one up top. You don't have to. You can always just do 1 if you're good at it, or you can do 2. I just prefer to work in smaller beads. That's just my preference. But of course, to cut down time, you can always use just 1 bead. Like I said, am terrified of doing smile lines, so this is gonna be my safe zone. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails, very carefully, just sculpting out that almond shape. And we're just gonna go with it, tucking in the sides, carving it out a little bit, just patting it down into the shape and hoping for the best. Now I am a little late on this one, but I'm using the Not Polish acrylic in the color Fiesta Sista. It is one of my go-tos. I literally keep it on hand at all times. You just never know when you're gonna need it, and it is the perfect pink, and it goes with every skin tone you can think of. So definitely a must if you are starting off to build up your acrylic. This one is one of the must-haves. And then I am using for today's video my acrylic brush from Profiles Backstage. This one is a Sculpted Like It's Hot in a size 10. This is one of my favorite brushes. Definitely recommend it, and I absolutely love all their products all together, so definitely check them out if you guys are interested. And then for my monomer, I'm actually using Not Polish monomer, and of course that is one of my go-tos as well. It's the one that I've been using lately, so definitely a must as well. Now, once everything is nice and dry, I'm actually going to be going in with my hand file and filing it to just make everything a little bit more crisp. I've seen people use an e-file. You can absolutely skip this step as well if you are just that good. But I will say, from my experience, and even though you try to get it as perfect as possible, you're not going to get a pretty crisp line if you don't file it, because there's always little areas that are slightly uneven. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in and file that until I am content with it. I will say that I did realize that my middle finger was a little bit on the long side, so I did go ahead and shorten it up a little bit so that everything looks a little bit more even. Now I'm going in with my e-file, and I'm just using my 5-in-1 bit. You can absolutely use whichever bit you prefer. You can always use like the super flat top ones. However, this is just what I like to use. I don't even think I have one in my collection that's like fully flat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use that, and I'm using it basically to remove any excess acrylic that is left on the tip. So whenever I wipe away and carve out that smile line with my brush, there's a little bit of acrylic residue that gets on that tip. So I'm just basically trying to like buff it off very carefully without cutting the actual tip or making it any weaker. And then of course I'm just going back and forth, kind of alternating from tool to tool, just depending on what I think needs to get fixed. And I'm kind of just eyeballing all of it, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and just dust off any excess dust, and then we're gonna be going back into our acrylic application. For the jelly look, we're gonna be using these sea glass acrylics from Kiara Sky. This color is super, super pretty. It's called So Juicy, and it reminds me of like the perfect watermelon color because it's a little bit red, pink, and a little bit orange. So I just think it is so perfect. I absolutely love it. And I do really like these acrylics because they are true jelly looking acrylics, which I appreciate. Some can be really, really cloudy looking, but these are definitely really see-through, so I appreciate that. So I'm just adding that in, tucking it up against that smile line, and then blending it out in the middle. And we're gonna be creating an ombre with this like yellow green jelly color as well. This one is called Fine Apple. Super, super cute. Definitely a must for the summertime. And again, I'm just using it in very light layers because I want to make sure that I'm able to like really blend it nicely, which honestly wasn't hard because they are nice and see-through, but still, I like working with very thin layers. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails. Very, very quick process, just tucking in the sides, blending out the middle, making sure that I'm cleaning up that smile line, and then blending out that beautiful yellow color as well. Once I'm done with the design, I'm going to go ahead and encapsulate. You always want to encapsulate any ombre, glitter, colored acrylic, anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and do that using the Not Polished clear acrylic. It is my go-to clear acrylic. And I'm starting off right where the smile line is because I want to make sure that I really build that up so that everything is nice and smooth. And then of course, we're going to be adding the thickness to the tip as well. Once that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and start filing. For this step, I am using my Kiara Sky rechargeable e-file at a speed of about 10,000 RPMs. And along with that, I'm using the 5-in-1 bit from Not Polished. This one is their red one. Absolutely love it. I'm going to go ahead and just file around that cuticle area, making sure that everything is nice and flush right in the cuticle area. And then I go vertically up and down, very, very light-handed, just making sure that everything is nice and smooth. I am not applying too much pressure because I want to make sure that I'm just smoothing everything out and not removing bulk product. Now we're going in with our hand file. This is a Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, my go-to and highly recommended hand file. It's my favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and file the sides, making sure that that shape is nice and crisp. And we're gonna be turning the hand around to look at the nails from the client's perspective. Do not forget to do this step because you will be able to see that I noticed a little bit of imperfections from that view and I was able to go ahead and fix them at that point. And then of course, we're gonna be squaring off that tip, making sure that everything is perfect. And I'm going in with my Profiles Backstage sponge buffer and I'm just going to be vigorously buffing that surface. I want to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Of course, if you're working on a client, you guys be careful, but because this is a practice hand, I just go in on it and it is fine. She doesn't complain, so we're all good. But I'm just going to go ahead and buff all of that off. Make sure that it is perfect for our nail art. So a lot of the time whenever I'm creating nail art designs, I kind of just go with it. Quite frankly, it's like everything in my life, I kind of just wing it. So my husband has said before that I start like with something and then I end up making something out of it. So for example, at my house, I start decorating and I literally will start with one little piece and then I kind of build off of that. And that's basically what I do with nail art as well. So my vision was I really wanted to do jelly tips with the French design. So I went with it and then I ended up deciding that I wanted to do ombre. And then once I got to this point, I was like, it needs something. It needs a little extraness. And the trend has been going around where you basically outline the French and then outline the whole nail. So I was like, let me make it my own. And because we did pink with yellow ombre, I was like, let's do both. And I loved it. I feel like it looks really, really cool. It definitely brings the design like all together. So we're going to be using this neon pink color from Profiles Backstage. It's from the Frosting collection, my go-to freaking gel paints. They are my favorite. I feel like ever since I started using them, no one can top it. So definitely recommend these paints. They are absolutely worth the investment. And then of course I'm using my go-to nail art brushes from Makartt. They are linked in my Amazon storefront. They come in a pack of 3 and I love every single one of them, but my go-to one right now is the white one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and outline that French nail art design. And then the cool thing about this too is like if you made any little imperfections when doing it with acrylic, you're good because you could just go ahead and cover it up with this. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'm gonna be taking the neon yellow from Profiles Backstage from their Frosting collection. And I'm gonna be outlining just the tip of that with yellow. And I thought about doing it like all the way to the top, but I felt like this would be a little bit more unique. So I just went with it. So we're just doing one straight line all the way across. Trying to be very, very careful, always stabilizing my brush with my pinky. And then of course we're gonna repeat that on the rest of the nails.
This is for my day ones. Don't forget the ones I made ya. Deep side sweating out flavor. This is for my day ones. Day ones. Showed up.
Now, of course, because these are gel paints, you always want to make sure that you are curing it in the light. I went ahead and put it in my Kiara Sky light for a full minute. If you do thick layers, make sure you leave it in there for 2 minutes, maybe even longer. You want to make sure that everything fully cures. Now, once we're out of the light, I'm going to go ahead and top coat. This is the Not Polish Gloss It, my go-to favorite shiny top coat. It lasts forever and it is super shiny. And I've realized that it doesn't really get scratched or anything, doesn't dull out whenever my clients come back. So definitely recommend it. I'm going in just doing a very light layer on top of the entire nail. We're going to be popping that back into the light for a full minute. I like to do the longest option on the Kiara Sky light.
This is for my day ones. Day ones. This is for my day ones. Don't forget the ones I made ya.
So that basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys are interested in seeing more videos. Hope you guys learned a ton and I will see you guys next time.
Show love. Don't need us for them. Show love. Show love.